The galaxy was quiet, too quiet. For centuries, humans lived on a small, blue planet, and no one noticed them. Other civilizations looked at the stars, built huge fleets, and ignored Earth completely. They thought humans were weak, primitive, and unimportant. Ships from distant empires passed by Earth without a glance, and humans kept to their world, quietly studying, building, and learning. But humans were not like other civilizations. They observed carefully, listened to every signal, and learned about the galaxy in secret. Scientists and engineers worked together to create something the universe would never expect. A fleet was being built, not just any fleet, but a fleet faster than anything aliens had ever seen, with technology so advanced that it would shock every race that had ignored humanity. Hidden deep inside secret shipyards, humans prepared for the moment the galaxy would finally notice them. No one knew when it would happen, and that was exactly what humans wanted. One day, small scout ships left Earth quietly, moving silently through the outer sectors. They were invisible to most alien sensors, and their speed was unmatched. As they traveled, humans observed the alien worlds. They saw massive cities, giant fleets, and strange creatures that ruled planets. The scouts sent back images, data, and calculations. Humans learned the strengths and weaknesses of every major civilization. They discovered that the galaxy was full of conflicts, greed, and pride. No one was united, and everyone underestimated humans. The silence of the galaxy made humans patient. They did not rush. They prepared every detail carefully. Years passed, and humans kept growing stronger. New ships were launched, faster and more powerful than the last. Every ship was equipped with cloaking devices, shields, and weapons designed not to destroy quickly but to control space with precision. Humans studied strategy like no other race. They understood timing, positioning, and prediction. Meanwhile, the galaxy continued to ignore Earth. Leaders spoke about humans in jokes, saying they were a harmless species. Some scholars even laughed at the idea that humans could ever reach the stars. But humans watched quietly. They did not respond to ridicule. They did not strike early. They waited for the right moment, when their fleet could appear and make the galaxy pause in shock. And that moment was coming. One night, in a distant sector of space, a signal was detected by an alien outpost. At first, they thought it was another routine message from a small colony. But the signal was strange, unlike anything they had received before. It moved too fast, jumped between frequencies, and carried complex data patterns. Alarms spread quickly. Fleet commanders were called, and their scanners worked overtime to locate the source. But it was gone. Nothing remained. Only the signal, fast and clever, and then silence again. On Earth, humans watched with satisfaction. Their scouts had reached the edge of known space, and the aliens had no idea. They did not know that the humans behind these ships were already planning the next move. Humans had learned that fear begins in the mind before the battle. The galaxy's silence was a mistake, and humans would use it to their advantage. Weeks passed, and more scouts moved quietly, collecting intelligence from the farthest planets. They saw fleets being repaired, weapons tested, and councils debating politics. Humans noted every detail. They memorized layouts of ships, technology levels, and even the habits of alien leaders. They understood that knowledge was power, and the galaxy had given it to them freely because no one thought humans could ever use it against them. In the heart of Earth's command centers, humans met in quiet rooms. Screens showed maps of stars, alien patrol routes, and supply lines. Leaders spoke softly but with strong confidence. "The galaxy will notice soon," one said. "They will regret ignoring us." Engineers smiled, knowing the fleet was almost ready. Scientists adjusted calculations, improving speed and shields. Soldiers trained, but only a few knew the truth about the upcoming moves. Secrecy was the key. Then, a scout returned from a far sector with an urgent message. The aliens had started to detect unusual activity, strange movements, and unexplained signals. Panic spread among minor fleets. Even small patrols reported strange ships that vanished in an instant. The galaxy had finally begun to sense something, but they did not yet understand. Humans watched carefully, knowing it was the perfect time to strike, not with destruction, but with surprise. The first human strike would be subtle, showing that humans were no longer weak. Ships jumped silently near a trading route used by an alien empire. Sensors picked up nothing until the humans chose to appear. Then, suddenly, dozens of human ships materialized in positions the aliens had never predicted. Traders and small fleets froze in shock. No one had seen a human fleet before. It was not the size that amazed them, it was the precision. Ships moved like parts of a single mind, covering exits, watching every move, predicting every reaction. The aliens panicked. Some tried to fire, but human shields absorbed every shot without a single ship being damaged. Other fleets tried to escape, but humans blocked every route, showing their control without killing anyone. It was a warning and a lesson. The message was clear: humans were not weak, and humans had arrived. In the alien capitals, leaders called emergency meetings. Scientists and generals scrambled to understand how humans had done it. Was it magic? Advanced technology? Strategy beyond imagination? No one knew. The galaxy had ignored humanity for centuries, and now, in a single moment, they realized they had been blind. Humans did not celebrate. They withdrew as silently as they had arrived, leaving only the memory of fear. But the signal of the first strike remained in alien minds, spreading like wildfire. Rumors began to form. Humans were fast, intelligent, unstoppable. And in every corner of the galaxy, those who had laughed at Earth now whispered in fear. On Earth, humans returned to quiet observation. No one celebrated openly. They had achieved the first step: attention. The galaxy would never ignore them again. The silence of the galaxy was over, but humans had many more steps to take. They were patient, clever, and ready. The next moves would be bigger, more daring, and would test the galaxy in ways no one could predict. And as the stars shone above Earth, humans looked to the unknown, smiling quietly, knowing the galaxy was about to change forever. The galaxy had never seen humans like this before. After the first scouts returned and the aliens realized something was happening, panic spread through the stars. Humans had been ignored for centuries, and now their presence was a shock that no empire could ignore. In the outer sectors, alien fleets moved quickly, trying to locate the mysterious ships that had appeared without warning. They sent messages, scanned every sector, and even tried to predict human moves, but nothing worked. Humans were always one step ahead. The human fleet, small but perfectly organized, appeared suddenly near a major trade route used by one of the largest alien empires. The ships moved with precision, almost like a single living entity. Alien captains were stunned. Their sensors picked up dozens of human ships, but none of them seemed ordinary. They moved too fast, shielded too strongly, and reacted before the aliens even decided on a plan. Traders and patrols froze in space, unsure if they were under attack or witnessing something far beyond their understanding. The humans did not fire a single shot. They only positioned themselves strategically, blocking exits, cutting off escape routes, and showing that they could control the battlefield without violence. The silence of the fleet was terrifying. No one spoke for a long time in the alien ships. Generals consulted each other, arguing about strategy, but every plan they made humans already countered before it began. Confusion spread like fire. The galaxy had never experienced such an organized, precise, and unpredictable fleet. The humans were not just fast or strong. They were clever. Alien leaders began to realize that humans could think in ways no one had predicted. They could anticipate attacks, counter maneuvers, and even fake retreats to lure opponents into traps. Reports flooded the alien capitals. Every empire received messages about the human fleet. Panic grew as whispers spread: "They are faster than our fleets. They are smarter than our generals. We cannot predict them." The human strategy was simple but terrifying. By avoiding direct combat, they forced the aliens to react, creating mistakes, confusion, and fear. No one had ever seen a race fight without fighting, control space without destroying anything, and create terror with only presence. In one sector, an entire alien convoy stopped dead in space as the human ships appeared out of nowhere. The convoys tried to flee, but humans anticipated every path. The aliens' weapons fired, but shields absorbed every shot. Not a single human ship was damaged, and not a single human was harmed. The humans left a message, simple but powerful, projected through signals that no alien could block. We are here. You will not ignore us again. Across the galaxy, alarms rang, fleets scrambled, and councils called emergency meetings. How could humans do this? How could a species no one took seriously suddenly appear with such precision, speed, and power? Scholars and scientists argued, searching for answers. Some said it was advanced technology. Others believed humans were trained by some unknown intelligence. Fear spread faster than any fleet. The humans, however, were calm. They watched, collected data, and observed reactions. Every move of the aliens was recorded and analyzed. Every hesitation, every panic, every failed strategy was noted. Humans were learning faster than the galaxy could adapt. Weeks passed, and the shockwave of the first appearance continued to ripple through space. Minor empires panicked and tried to form alliances. Major empires debated full-scale war on Earth, thinking it was the only way to stop humans. But humans were not afraid. They moved quietly, striking psychologically rather than physically. Trade routes were blocked, patrols were trapped, and alien fleets became nervous at every turn. No one dared to approach without careful planning. In one daring moment, humans cloaked a fleet near an alien capital, showing they could be anywhere instantly. The alien leaders realized the humans were no longer just a distant planet. They were a threat that could appear at any time, any place. Fear became a tool. Humans knew how to use it. The alien fleets started to hesitate. Decisions slowed down. Generals questioned their own commands. The idea of engaging humans directly became frightening. Every fleet feared that a single mistake could cost them more than a battle. It could cost them entire sectors. Humans, meanwhile, continued to grow. Their fleet expanded quietly, adding more ships, refining shields, testing new maneuvers, and preparing for the next step. Intelligence reports were compiled from every corner of the galaxy. Humans knew the habits of every empire, the weaknesses of every fleet, and the politics that could be used to their advantage. The galaxy had underestimated humans for too long, and now every empire felt it. Aliens sent spies, scouts, and even diplomats to study humans, but none could understand them. Humans were unpredictable, organized, and precise in ways no one had ever experienced. The fear of the unknown spread faster than any weapon. Even allies of the major empires whispered about humans in secret, afraid to openly speak for fear of being wrong. By the time the aliens realized humans were a true force, it was already too late. The first shockwave had passed, and humans had proven their superiority without a single casualty. The galaxy could see them. The galaxy could not ignore them. And yet, humans remained calm. They did not celebrate victory. They did not attack further. They withdrew to observe, plan, and prepare. Every alien that had laughed at humans now feared them. Stories began to spread across sectors, describing the sudden appearance, the unmatched speed, and the invisible power of humanity's fleet. In secret, humans celebrated quietly. They knew that fear was more powerful than weapons. They had gained the attention of the galaxy without firing a single destructive shot. The silence that had once hidden humanity was gone forever. Now, humans were a name spoken in fear, curiosity, and respect. And as humans prepared for the next step, every alien fleet began to wonder, how far could this species go? How much had they underestimated Earth? The shockwave of the first appearance had only begun. Humans were patient, strategic, and unstoppable in their own quiet way. The galaxy had changed in a single moment, and no one could predict what humans would do next. But one thing was certain, humans were no longer ignored. The galaxy was awake, trembling, and watching every move of the silent but deadly fleet from Earth, knowing that the era of underestimating humanity was over forever. The galaxy was in chaos. After the first shockwave, alien fleets were unsettled, trading routes were blocked, and every empire feared humans. But humanity did not rush. They waited, observing carefully, learning more about their enemies. The humans' next move would not be a battle but a silent strike, a warning that showed their power without bloodshed. In the far reaches of space, a human fleet approached an important alien military station. The station was heavily defended, with turrets, shields, and patrols surrounding it. Alien commanders were confident that no one could reach them unnoticed. They had never faced humans before, and they thought Earth's fleet was too small to threaten such a stronghold. But humans were patient and clever. They did not attack directly. Their ships moved silently, cloaked from sensors, weaving through patrols and sensor nets like ghosts. The alien scanners detected nothing. Alarms rang, but no fleet was found. The humans had studied every patrol route, every blind spot, and every routine of the station. They had planned this strike for weeks, calculating timing down to seconds. When the moment came, human ships appeared simultaneously on multiple sides of the station. Alien gunners fired instinctively, but human shields absorbed every shot. Not a single ship was harmed. Humans maneuvered perfectly, forming a silent circle around the station, blocking escape routes and controlling space. Then, without warning, they released a wave of electromagnetic pulses. The station's systems flickered and shut down temporarily. Lights went out, weapons disabled, and communication lines cut. Alien soldiers panicked, scrambling to understand what had happened. The human ships did not fire any destructive weapons. They did not harm anyone. They only showed that they could control space completely, without destruction. A single message was sent through secure channels, simple but terrifying: "We are here. You cannot hide. You cannot resist. You will not ignore us." Across the galaxy, reports of the silent strike spread like wildfire. Other empires were shocked. How could humans disable an entire station without firing a single destructive shot? How could they appear in perfect positions, control every exit, and vanish as if they were never there? Alien leaders argued furiously. Some wanted immediate retaliation. Others were too afraid to act. Fear had become a weapon, and humans wielded it perfectly. Meanwhile, the human fleet observed quietly. They recorded every reaction, every mistake, and every sign of fear. They learned faster than the galaxy could adapt. In the alien capitals, panic turned to paranoia. Fleets that had once laughed at humans now scrambled to strengthen defenses. Councils held emergency meetings, trying to predict human movements. But humans were unpredictable. They could strike anywhere, anytime, and leave no trace. The aliens had never faced such precision and intelligence combined with patience. Small fleets tried to intercept human ships in other sectors, but humans had anticipated their paths. Ambushes failed. Fleets were blocked, rerouted, or trapped without firing a single shot. The humans had mastered psychological warfare. They understood that fear could achieve more than weapons. The galaxy had spent centuries ignoring Earth, and now every empire was learning a lesson the hard way. Humans did not need destruction. Control and surprise were enough. Weeks passed, and the silent strikes continued. Trade routes, communication lines, and patrol zones were subtly disrupted. Alien commanders were forced to rethink everything they had learned about warfare. Every decision became cautious, slow, and hesitant. The humans were patient. They observed weaknesses, political tensions, and fear spreading across the galaxy. Even minor races whispered in secret about humans, wondering what else they could do. The silent strike was a message, not a battle. It showed humans were clever, fast, and unstoppable in ways no one had predicted. In secret command centers on Earth, humans analyzed every report. They adjusted strategies, improved shields, and prepared for the next demonstration of power. The galaxy thought they were reacting, but in reality, humans were always one step ahead. Every failure of alien fleets became data for humans. Every panic, every hesitation, and every mistake strengthened humanity's knowledge. No empire could match it. The silent strikes created a new fear in the galaxy, one that went beyond weapons or numbers. It was the fear of being outsmarted, controlled, and anticipated. Humans had turned the galaxy into a chessboard, and every alien move played right into their plan. As the strikes continued, alien leaders began to realize something terrifying. Humans were not only strong, they were intelligent, patient, and fearless. They could control battles without fighting, dominate space without destruction, and influence the galaxy without ever revealing their full power. One fleet commander said quietly in his command room, "They are not like any species we have ever faced. They think faster, move smarter, and strike without warning. We are not ready." Other leaders nodded in fear. Even allies of major empires began to question whether humanity could be defeated. In a daring maneuver, humans cloaked an entire fleet near a major alien supply hub. When sensors detected it, panic erupted. Fleets tried to respond, but humans had predicted every move. The hub was controlled, but no one was harmed. The human message was clear: we could destroy, but we choose not to. Across sectors, whispers grew into rumors, and rumors grew into stories of fear and respect. Humans were no longer an unknown species. They were a force, patient, and deadly in ways the galaxy could not understand. And yet, humans remained calm. They withdrew silently, leaving aliens to wonder if the next strike would be worse. Trade routes reopened, patrols returned, but fear remained. Humans had achieved what no one else could: control without destruction, influence without war, and terror without bloodshed. The galaxy had finally learned that ignoring humans was a mistake. From quiet planets to massive capitals, empires began to prepare, knowing that the next move of humanity could change everything. Humans, however, continued their observation, studying reactions, refining strategies, and waiting for the right moment to strike again. They had learned that patience, precision, and intelligence were more powerful than any weapon. The silent strike had proven it. And as the stars shone above Earth, humans looked at the galaxy calmly, knowing that they had begun a new era. An era where humanity was no longer ignored, feared, and respected without firing a single shot. The aliens did not know it yet, but the silent strike was only the beginning. The galaxy had changed, and humans were ready for what came next, watching, calculating, and preparing for a future where no empire would dare underestimate them again. The galaxy was no longer calm. After the silent strikes, alien fleets and empires were tense, uncertain, and afraid. They had faced humans, but not in battle. They had faced humans in thought, strategy, and precision. Humans had shown that they could control space without violence, and now the next step would prove something even more terrifying: the human mind. In the outer sectors, fleets from multiple empires tried to set traps, thinking they could corner humanity. They spread false signals, created fake trade convoys, and laid ambushes across star systems. They believed their intelligence, their technology, and their numbers could predict human movements. But humans were not predictable. Humans observed carefully, noting the smallest patterns, the slightest hesitations, and every reaction. Their strategy was not about force. It was about understanding the enemy before the enemy could act. In one sector, a large alien fleet prepared to ambush a human scout. They expected an easy victory, a small, unsuspecting fleet to destroy. But the humans had anticipated this exact trap. The scout altered course subtly, creating the illusion of following the planned path. The alien fleet followed eagerly, confident of success. Suddenly, dozens of human ships appeared from hidden angles, surrounding the aliens completely. Every move the aliens made was already predicted. Weapons fired, shields activated, but the humans responded instantly, avoiding every attack and maintaining control without damage. The alien commanders were stunned. "How do they know?" one cried. "How can they anticipate everything?" The human mind had become a weapon stronger than any laser or missile. Across the galaxy, similar events unfolded. Ambushes failed. Patrols were trapped. Fleets moved into empty space while humans controlled every key position. The aliens realized with fear that no matter how many ships they sent, no matter how clever their strategies, humans seemed to think faster, react faster, and see the battlefield as a single whole. Councils debated furiously, trying to understand how humans could be so intelligent. Spies returned from secret missions with nothing but confusion and fear. Humans had anticipated their arrival, predicted their reports, and manipulated the information to mislead alien leaders. Rumors spread quickly. Humans were not just strong, they were thinking, planning, and seeing farther than any race in history. In some capitals, scholars whispered that humans might possess a unique brain structure, or perhaps some form of collective intelligence no one understood. Leaders could not agree on how to respond. Some wanted direct attack. Others suggested negotiating. But fear had grown too large. Every decision became cautious, slow, and full of doubt. Humans had achieved something that no weapons could accomplish: total psychological dominance. Meanwhile, human fleets continued to observe. They did not rush. They did not attack unnecessarily. Every movement of alien fleets was recorded, analyzed, and studied. Every hesitation and miscalculation was used to refine strategies. Humans understood that patience, observation, and intelligence could achieve more than destruction. In one daring maneuver, humans sent a decoy fleet toward a heavily defended star system. Alien fleets moved quickly, confident they could intercept. But the decoy split into smaller ships, vanishing from sensors and reappearing behind enemy lines. The aliens were caught completely off guard. Every response they made was anticipated, every counterattack neutralized. No one had ever seen such control, such awareness, and such precision. Across the galaxy, alien leaders grew desperate. How could a species they had ignored for centuries now dominate entire battlefields with thought alone? Communication lines buzzed with panic. Fleet commanders argued over trivial details, every decision delayed by fear of making a mistake. Meanwhile, humans expanded their influence quietly. They intercepted trade routes, observed key planets, and controlled critical sectors, not through brute force, but by strategic placement and anticipation. Minor races whispered in fear. Major empires debated alliances, knowing that humans could outsmart any coalition. Humans were no longer just a fleet or technology. They were a strategy, an intelligence, a mind that the galaxy could not predict or control. In a bold demonstration, humans created a simulated attack on multiple sectors simultaneously. Alien fleets moved to defend, but humans were already in positions they could not see. Each alien commander believed they had predicted human movements, only to discover their fleets were trapped or bypassed at every turn. Panic turned to terror. The galaxy had never witnessed such a species, and fear spread faster than any weapon. On Earth, human leaders analyzed every reaction, refining strategies for the next demonstration. They did not seek destruction. They sought control, understanding, and respect. Every alien mistake, hesitation, and failed plan became data. Every observation of fear and confusion strengthened humanity's position. The human mind had become the ultimate weapon. Across sectors, stories of human foresight, prediction, and intelligence spread. Merchants, soldiers, and scholars whispered about humans who could think faster than fleets, react smarter than generals, and control entire star systems without lifting a single weapon. The psychological effect was immense. Alien fleets hesitated before acting. Commanders second-guessed their own orders. Every decision was filled with doubt and fear. And all the while, humans remained calm, silent, and patient. They had proven that power was not always in weapons or numbers. Sometimes, power was in intelligence, observation, and anticipation. Humans were no longer just a species in the galaxy. They were a force of thought, a mind that the galaxy could not comprehend or predict. Every empire learned the same lesson: underestimate humans at your own risk. In the silent command centers of Earth, humans prepared for the next phase. They refined cloaking, improved speed, and calculated future movements of every empire. The galaxy had begun to fear, respect, and admire humans, all without a single destructive battle. The human mind had proven itself superior to alien technology, strategy, and tradition. And as humans watched the galaxy carefully, they knew that the next steps would be even more daring. The galaxy could no longer ignore Earth. Humans had awakened the stars to their intelligence, precision, and calm power. And in every corner of space, from the smallest patrols to the largest fleets, alien leaders wondered one terrifying thought. How far could humanity think, plan, and dominate before the galaxy truly understood what they had unleashed? The galaxy trembled quietly. After the demonstrations of human intelligence and strategy, alien fleets were nervous, uncertain, and afraid of what came next. Humans had shown patience, precision, and control without destruction, but now the hidden power of humanity would be revealed. In secret, deep inside hidden shipyards on Earth, humans had been preparing weapons and technology far beyond what any alien civilization could imagine. Cloaking devices made ships invisible to sensors, shields absorbed energy stronger than the heaviest alien weapons, and engines allowed ships to move faster than the fastest known fleets. But humans had waited. They knew that revealing this power too early would waste the advantage. Now, as alien fleets began to regroup, humans decided the time had come. Small fleets appeared near strategic sectors, scouting, observing, and testing reactions. Aliens detected unusual energy readings but could not pinpoint their source. Panic spread across command centers. Fleets that had once laughed at Earth now scrambled to reinforce defenses. In one sector, humans cloaked an entire fleet near a heavily defended research station. Alien patrols arrived, weapons ready, expecting an easy confrontation. But the humans did not attack. Instead, they released a controlled electromagnetic pulse that shut down communications temporarily, causing confusion and fear. Ships drifted in space, unable to move or communicate effectively. The aliens panicked, unsure if this was the beginning of an attack or a warning. Humans, calm and silent, recorded every movement. Every error the aliens made became a lesson for future operations. Across the galaxy, rumors spread. Merchants whispered about human ships that appeared out of nowhere and vanished without warning. Generals feared ambushes they could not anticipate. Scientists debated the limits of human technology, but no one could fully understand it. Humans had hidden power, patience, and strategy combined in a way that made them unpredictable and terrifying. In another daring move, humans cloaked a fleet near a major supply hub used by several empires. Sensors detected nothing until the humans chose to appear. Suddenly, dozens of ships materialized around the hub, blocking every exit. The aliens fired their weapons, but shields absorbed every shot without damage. Humans moved with perfect coordination, showing control without violence. A message was sent, simple but powerful: "We are here. You cannot hide. You cannot resist." Across sectors, the shockwave of this demonstration spread. Minor empires trembled, and major fleets reconsidered their plans. The hidden power of humans was no longer a secret. In secret councils, alien leaders debated desperately. Some suggested immediate attacks on Earth. Others feared that any attack would fail. Fear had become a weapon, and humans wielded it without lifting a gun. Meanwhile, human engineers continued to refine technology. Cloaking fields became more effective, engines faster, and shields stronger. Humans studied alien reactions carefully, learning weaknesses, habits, and tendencies. Every move of the aliens was anticipated, recorded, and analyzed. Humanity had created an invisible advantage, one that no alien could predict or counter. In a bold psychological maneuver, humans allowed an alien fleet to detect a small fleet near a trade route, knowing that scouts would report its presence. The aliens moved to intercept, but the fleet had already split into smaller cloaked ships and appeared behind the enemy lines. Panic spread, chaos ensued, and humans recorded every reaction. The aliens realized that even their best fleets were not enough to challenge humans' hidden power. Across the galaxy, whispers turned to rumors, rumors to stories, and stories to fear. Humans were no longer a distant, primitive species. They were a hidden force, patient, clever, and unstoppable. Every empire understood that ignoring Earth had been a grave mistake. In Earth's command centers, humans watched calmly. They did not celebrate. They refined strategies, prepared fleets, and waited for the right moment to expand influence. Every alien mistake became data. Every hesitation became knowledge. Every miscalculation became opportunity. Humans had learned that power was not only in weapons or numbers but in secrecy, observation, and intelligence. In one daring move, humans cloaked a fleet near the core of an alien research station. The station was a hub of knowledge, heavily guarded, and vital to the Empire's defense. Alien fleets approached, ready to defend, but humans had anticipated every move. The ships moved like shadows, appearing in positions no one expected. Communication systems flickered, weapons failed, and alien commanders panicked. Humans had not fired a shot. They had not harmed anyone. But the message was clear: we have hidden power beyond your understanding, and we can strike anywhere at any time. Across sectors, aliens debated, planned, and feared. Every empire realized that even their strongest fleets could not challenge humanity's combination of hidden technology, intelligence, and patience. Humans were no longer ignored. They were respected and feared in equal measure. Stories spread through the galaxy: humans who could cloak fleets, move faster than known technology, and control sectors without direct combat. Merchants, soldiers, and scholars whispered of ships that could vanish and reappear at will. Even alliances could not counter humans' hidden power, for humans had already observed every reaction, every plan, and every strategy. The psychological effect was immense. Aliens hesitated, questioned commands, and feared mistakes. Humans had achieved dominance without destruction, control without violence, and influence without revealing all their strength. In secret, humans prepared for the next phase. Cloaking fields were improved, engines optimized, and new fleets built. They studied alien reactions, recorded every pattern, and refined strategies. The hidden power of humanity had become a silent weapon, invisible but unstoppable. And as humans looked at the stars, they knew the galaxy had begun to respect, fear, and acknowledge them. The time of being ignored was over. The hidden power of Earth had awakened, and the universe would never be the same. Every empire learned a crucial lesson: underestimate humans at your own risk. The galaxy had changed, and humanity's secret strength was now known. Fear had spread, respect had grown, and patience remained humanity's greatest weapon. The hidden power was only the beginning. The next moves would be more daring, more shocking, and would show the galaxy that humans were not only clever and patient but unstoppable. And as human fleets waited silently in the shadows, every empire wondered the same terrifying question: what else does humanity hide, and how far will they go before the universe truly understands their strength? The galaxy was no longer the same. After humans revealed their hidden power, alien empires were shaken to the core. Fleets that had once laughed at Earth now hesitated before moving. Trade routes were disrupted, communication lines unreliable, and even the smallest patrols approached space with caution. The Galactic Council, a body that ruled with authority over thousands of systems, convened in emergency. Leaders from the largest empires argued, shouted, and blamed one another for underestimating humanity for centuries. The council chambers, filled with beings from countless species, were tense with fear. No one had ever faced a race like humans before. They had controlled space without violence, struck without firing a weapon, and outsmarted fleets far larger than their own. Now, every council member knew that Earth could no longer be ignored. The council debated furiously. Some argued for preemptive strikes, to attack Earth and destroy their fleet before it grew larger. Others warned that any attack could fail, for humans had proven time and again that their intelligence and strategy outmatched even the most advanced empires. Fear had entered the hearts of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. They whispered about humans in private chambers, asking questions that had no answers. How could such a small planet create such advanced technology, such precise strategy, and such invisible power? Meanwhile, humans watched quietly. From their command centers on Earth, they monitored alien communications, intercepted fleet movements, and recorded council discussions. Every reaction, hesitation, and fear-filled decision became data for future plans. Humans did not celebrate. They did not rush into battle. They were patient, knowing that the Council's fear was already a weapon in their hands. In the outer sectors, alien fleets were in chaos. Commanders tried to coordinate attacks or set traps, but human scouts predicted every move. Ships appeared unexpectedly, blocked exits, and created confusion without firing a single destructive shot. Alien soldiers whispered about humans with disbelief and fear. "They are everywhere," one said. "They are faster than our sensors. Smarter than our generals." Across galaxies, rumors spread of humans who could appear in impossible places, strike without being seen, and control entire star systems without harming a single ship. The Council, realizing the situation, began to consider diplomacy. Messages were sent to Earth, subtle and careful, testing human reactions. But humans had anticipated these signals long before they were sent. Their response was calm, measured, and silent. The message was simple: attack, and you will lose everything. The Council members grew even more uneasy. Their advisors warned that humans were no longer a species to underestimate. Every plan they had prepared seemed ineffective. Every calculation failed. And yet, humans did not need to destroy anything to show dominance. Psychological control had already shifted the balance of power. In one decisive moment, humans allowed an alien fleet to believe they had a chance at interception. The fleet moved confidently, thinking they could engage a small human squad. But the humans anticipated every step, appearing in unexpected positions, blocking escape routes, and forcing alien ships into hesitation and confusion. Not a single human ship was harmed. The aliens realized, with growing terror, that any mistake could be catastrophic. Across the council chambers, debates turned desperate. Leaders argued about treaties, alliances, and preemptive strikes. Some suggested forming a coalition to overwhelm Earth, but others doubted whether even the combined fleets could succeed. Fear had become the galaxy's silent ruler. Humans, observing calmly, knew that the Council's panic was a sign of their growing power. Every delay, every argument, every fearful decision strengthened humanity's position. In outer sectors, minor empires began sending envoys secretly to Earth, hoping for negotiation. They feared alien retribution but understood that humans had outsmarted even the largest empires. Humans listened politely, gathered intelligence, and made no threats. The Council, however, misread these actions as further evidence of humans' unpredictable nature, adding to their paranoia. Across galaxies, stories of humans' power spread, not through war, but through fear and respect. Generals whispered about fleets that could vanish and appear anywhere, scientists speculated about advanced technology beyond comprehension, and leaders feared losing control of sectors they had ruled for centuries. On Earth, humans prepared silently. They improved fleets, refined technology, and studied every reaction of the Council. They understood that patience and intelligence were stronger than any weapon. The Council, unaware of the full extent of humanity's hidden power, debated endlessly, their fear growing with every Council session. Some members suggested sending a fleet toward Earth as a warning. Others argued that it would be suicide. The very mention of humans' name caused tension, arguments, and even panic among delegates. In outer space, humans continued their silent maneuvers, appearing in strategic locations, observing alien fleets, and recording every hesitation. They had learned that showing control without attacking was more effective than any battle. Psychological dominance had shifted the balance of power in the galaxy. The Council's authority weakened as fear of humans grew. Decisions were delayed, alliances questioned, and fleets held back by commanders afraid to make mistakes. In secret, humans smiled quietly. They had achieved what no species had ever done. They controlled the galaxy's attention, respect, and fear, all without firing a single destructive weapon. The Council trembled not because of numbers or firepower, but because of strategy, intelligence, and the unknown. Every empire learned a hard truth: underestimating humans was a mistake that could not be repeated. As the stars shone above Earth, human fleets moved silently through space, ready for the next phase. The Council, aware of their inability to predict or counter humanity, began to falter. Fear ruled decisions, hesitation ruled fleets, and panic ruled hearts. The galaxy had learned a lesson the hard way. Humans were no longer a distant, primitive race. They were patient, intelligent, strategic, and unstoppable. The Council's trembling reflected the beginning of a new era, one where humanity would no longer be ignored, one where humans' calculated moves, hidden power, and unmatched mind would decide the balance of the galaxy. And as humans observed quietly from Earth, they knew that the Council's fear was only the start. The galaxy had begun to change, and the era of underestimating humans was over forever. Every empire now watched, listened, and feared what humanity might do next, knowing that the silence of centuries was broken, and the age of humanity's power had arrived. The galaxy was tense. After the Council had trembled and humans had shown their hidden power, every empire watched the stars with fear. Fleets moved cautiously, trade routes slowed, and even minor planets began to take precautions against humanity. But humans were patient, observing everything, learning more, and planning the next steps. Then, unexpectedly, a signal reached Earth. It was from an alien race that humans had never contacted directly, a species known for secrecy and intelligence. Their ships were small, fast, and elusive. They had observed humans quietly for years, unsure whether to attack or ignore them. Now, they chose to speak. Humans received the signal, studied it, and responded carefully. The message was simple, cautious, and respectful. They offered information, alliances, and knowledge that could be valuable for both sides. Humans did not rush. They analyzed the data, observed the aliens' behavior, and considered the offer. The species had powerful technology, knowledge of the galaxy's political tensions, and intelligence that humans could use to understand the empires better. But trust was careful and calculated. Humans knew that alliances in the galaxy were fragile. The aliens had fear, yes, but also motives that humans had to understand fully. Slowly, over weeks, communications continued. Humans asked questions, tested honesty, and shared limited information about Earth's fleets. The aliens responded truthfully, proving their reliability without showing their full strength. Meanwhile, the rest of the galaxy watched suspiciously. Rumors spread of an unknown race speaking with humans, of secret alliances, and of intelligence being shared. Fleet commanders whispered about humans gaining unexpected allies, and scholars debated what this could mean. Even the Council was uncertain, fearful that this new alliance might shift the balance of power further in humanity's favor. On Earth, humans prepared carefully. They did not reveal the full capabilities of their fleets or technology. They observed the alien allies' habits, studied their intelligence methods, and learned the secrets of sectors far beyond human reach. Through the alliance, humans gained knowledge of hidden fleets, trade routes, and political conflicts. They discovered weak points in several empires and vulnerabilities in their defense systems. This intelligence would allow humans to predict enemy actions even more accurately. Across galaxies, alien spies tried to learn what humans and their new ally were planning, but humans had anticipated their moves. Cloaked fleets moved silently, scouting and observing without being detected. Every reaction of the galaxy's empires was recorded, analyzed, and used to improve strategy. The presence of the unexpected ally created new tension. Some empires feared that humans were building a coalition that could challenge entire sectors at once. Others worried that this species might betray humans or reveal their secrets. But humans remained calm. They had learned patience over centuries of observation and preparation. The ally provided information, yes, but humans controlled the partnership, choosing what to share and when. In one daring move, humans and their ally coordinated a small maneuver in a contested sector. Alien fleets believed they were responding to scattered human activity, but the reality was far different. Cloaked ships from both species moved silently, observed enemy patterns, and disappeared before detection. Fleet commanders panicked, realizing that humans could operate with intelligence and coordination beyond comprehension. Stories began to spread, humans with allies from unknown species, operating with unmatched precision, controlling space without fighting, and predicting every enemy move. Fear spread faster than fleets could travel. In secret meetings, alien leaders debated whether to attack humans before they gained even more allies. Others argued that humans could already predict such attacks, making them even more dangerous. On Earth, humans watched the galaxy carefully. They studied reactions, observed political tension, and prepared for the next phase of strategy. Their alliance had provided critical intelligence, but the humans remained the leaders of every plan. Every movement, every hesitation, every fear-filled decision by alien fleets became data for humanity. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries, and now every empire realized the danger, yet they could do nothing to stop it. The unexpected ally provided knowledge of secret weapons, hidden fleets, and covert operations, allowing humans to move with even greater confidence. Every sector they touched, every fleet they observed, humans gained insight. Fear continued to grow. Alien leaders whispered in private chambers, wondering how far humans would go, what technology they truly possessed, and which species might secretly aid them next. Trade routes slowed, alliances strained, and fleets hesitated before acting. The humans' comm strategy combined with the intelligence of their new ally had created a psychological advantage larger than any weapon. Across the galaxy, stories spread of humans controlling space, appearing where they were not expected, striking without violence, and always being one step ahead. Even the most powerful fleets could not anticipate their moves. The council debated endlessly. Could they negotiate with humans? Could they attack? Every option seemed risky, uncertain, and likely to fail. Humans had shifted the balance of power. The unexpected ally had amplified humanity's reach, intelligence, and influence. Minor races secretly aligned with humans, hoping for protection or benefit, while major empires hesitated, fearful of acting recklessly. On Earth, humans continued to refine fleets, improve cloaking, and enhance communication with their ally. They prepared for the next maneuvers, knowing that intelligence and patience would achieve more than violence. The galaxy had begun to fear not only the fleets and technology but the strategy, foresight, and cunning of humans and their ally. In a bold operation, humans and the ally coordinated a demonstration near a critical sector. Ships appeared in impossible locations, blocked exits, and observed fleets without being detected. No shots were fired. No lives were lost. Yet the fear was immense. Fleet commanders realized that humans had planned every possible scenario, and even with their ally, they could not predict humanity's next moves. Across sectors, the message became clear. Humans were no longer a distant, primitive species. They were intelligent, patient, strategic, and unstoppable, capable of forming alliances that amplified their already terrifying abilities. Rumors of humans with allies created tension, paranoia, and uncertainty across every empire. Merchants, soldiers, and scholars whispered about the power of Earth's fleets and the unknown species supporting them. Decisions were delayed. Plans were second-guessed. Fleets hesitated. The unexpected ally had changed the game entirely, showing the galaxy that humans could combine intelligence, strategy, and support from other species to become a force beyond comprehension. And as humans looked to the stars from their command centers, calm and patient, they knew that the galaxy had begun to fear, respect, and acknowledge their power. The unexpected ally was only the beginning of a network that humans could use to expand influence, gain intelligence, and prepare for greater moves. Every empire watched nervously, every fleet hesitated, and the council trembled once more. The galaxy was on edge. After humans had gained an unexpected ally and shown hidden power, empires trembled in fear. Fleets moved cautiously, trade routes slowed, and even the council could not agree on how to respond. Humans had been patient for centuries, observing, learning, and preparing. Now, the time for a turning point had arrived. In the outer sectors, humans launched a coordinated series of maneuvers, not to destroy, but to demonstrate their dominance clearly. Cloaked fleets appeared simultaneously in multiple strategic locations, blocking trade routes, patrolling near capitals, and surrounding minor planets. Alien fleets rushed to respond, but humans had anticipated every move. Ships appeared in positions no sensors could detect, blocking exits and controlling entire regions without firing a single shot. Alien commanders panicked. "They are everywhere," one cried. "We cannot predict them." The unexpected ally, moving silently alongside human fleets, provided intelligence that no other empire could match. Fleets attempted to attack, believing humans would flee, but the humans held position perfectly, anticipating every possible action. Weapons fired uselessly against shields designed to absorb even the heaviest energy blasts. Across galaxies, rumors spread of humans controlling space like ghosts, moving unseen, striking with precision, and retreating before a single shot hit. Fear grew faster than fleets could move. Even minor empires whispered about humans in secret, wondering what else they could do. On Earth, human leaders monitored the entire operation. They observed reactions, noted hesitation, and calculated next steps. Every alien mistake, every delay, every moment of panic became knowledge. They had prepared for this turning point for decades. The galaxy had underestimated humans, and now, in a single moment, humans would prove that they were no longer a species to ignore. In one daring move, humans cloaked a fleet near a major alien fleet assembly. The aliens believed they had an advantage in numbers and firepower, but humans had already predicted every maneuver, every possible escape route, and every defensive pattern. Suddenly, human ships appeared in impossible positions, blocking exits, surrounding the fleet, and creating total control without firing a single weapon. Panic spread among alien soldiers. Generals argued frantically, trying to coordinate attacks, but every decision was anticipated and countered perfectly by human strategy. Ships attempted to flee, but human fleets blocked every path. Communication lines failed, systems faltered, and for the first time in centuries, alien commanders felt helpless. The turning point was clear: humans could dominate without destruction, control without conflict, and terrorize without violence. Across the council chambers, debates grew desperate. Should they negotiate? Should they strike? Could they even challenge humanity? Every option seemed uncertain. Fear ruled every decision, hesitation slowed every fleet, and humans observed silently, learning more with every second. Minor races began secretly contacting humans, hoping to gain favor or avoid destruction. Humans allowed some alliances but controlled the flow of information carefully. Every empire that had once laughed at Earth now feared them profoundly. In another sector, human fleets coordinated with their ally to simulate multiple attacks simultaneously. Alien fleets scattered in panic, believing attacks were occurring in numerous locations at once. Humans had moved strategically, controlling space without firing a single shot. The psychological impact was immense. Across galaxies, leaders whispered of humans with unseen power, intelligence beyond comprehension, and allies that magnified their capabilities. The turning point had shifted the balance of power. Humans were no longer a distant, primitive species. They were a force capable of outsmarting, controlling, and manipulating the galaxy silently. On Earth, humans refined technology, improved cloaking, and studied alien reactions. Every hesitation, miscalculation, and panic was recorded for future operations. They knew the turning point was only the beginning. Across the stars, fleets hesitated before acting, councils debated endlessly, and empires feared making any move that could provoke humanity further. The unexpected ally had proven crucial, providing intelligence that allowed humans to control regions without confrontation. Fleets that once dominated sectors now moved cautiously, unsure if humans were watching, controlling, or planning the next silent strike. Stories spread through trade routes, markets, and military channels. Humans could appear anywhere, strike with precision, and vanish without trace. Fear had become humanity's weapon, and it was stronger than any cannon, missile, or warship. Even the largest empires realized that no amount of force could challenge the intelligence, patience, and strategy of humans combined with their ally. Across council chambers, whispers turned to panic. Fleet commanders admitted they could not predict human actions. Scholars debated human technology and foresight but found no answers. The turning point had proven that humans were a threat beyond comprehension, not because of numbers or weapons, but because of intelligence, preparation and patience. In the outer sectors, humans continued maneuvers, observing alien fleets, controlling trade routes, and monitoring communication lines. Every move of every empire was noted, analyzed, and used to plan future operations. The galaxy had entered a new era. Humans had shifted the balance of power with calm precision and silent dominance. In private chambers, alien leaders feared even minor decisions, knowing humans could anticipate and counter them. Across minor worlds, whispers of humanity spread. Merchants, soldiers, and civilians alike shared stories of fleets appearing out of nowhere, blocking escape routes, and controlling space without violence. On Earth, humans prepared for the next phase, knowing that the turning point had demonstrated their strength, patience, and intelligence to the galaxy. Every empire now recognized a hard truth: humanity could not be ignored. They were no longer distant observers of the galaxy. They were controllers, strategists, and silent rulers of space, able to dominate without a fight. The turning point had shifted the galaxy forever. Fleets hesitated. Councils argued. Empires feared. Humans observed. And as Earth's command centers monitored every reaction, they knew that this was only the beginning of humanity's rise. The galaxy had learned a lesson that could not be forgotten: never underestimate humans. The stars were no longer quiet. The universe had awakened to humanity's presence, intelligence, and patience. And as human fleets moved silently, watching, learning, and controlling, every empire wondered what humanity would do next, knowing that the turning point had already shown them. Humans were unstoppable, unseen, and far beyond anything the galaxy had prepared for. The galaxy had changed forever. After the turning point, every empire and fleet knew that humans were not just a distant species to ignore. Fear and respect had spread through trade routes, command centers, and council chambers. But humans did not rush into open war. Their conquest was silent, calculated, and unstoppable. In the outer sectors, human fleets moved like shadows, cloaked from sensors, appearing only when necessary. They observed alien fleets, trade convoys, and key planets, noting weaknesses, habits, and patterns. The galaxy had never seen a conquest like this. No fleets destroyed, no planets bombed, and yet humans controlled space with unmatched precision. Alien commanders scrambled, believing they could counter human moves, but every maneuver had been predicted. Humans used their knowledge, strategy, and hidden power to create the illusion of control everywhere. Fleets that once dominated sectors now hesitated, unsure of where humans might strike next. Trade routes slowed, and communication lines grew tense, for every empire feared provoking the unseen hand of humanity. In one daring operation, humans and their unexpected ally approached a contested system rich in resources and strategically vital. Alien fleets were stationed to defend it, confident that no enemy could challenge them. But humans did not attack directly. Cloaked ships positioned themselves in impossible locations, blocking exits, observing every fleet movement, and controlling space without firing a single shot. Panic spread among alien soldiers. Generals shouted orders that were anticipated and countered silently. Ships that attempted to flee found every path blocked by invisible humans. Commanders realized with growing fear that no number of fleets or weapons could overcome the intelligence, strategy, and hidden technology of Earth. Across the galaxy, whispers grew louder. Humans could appear anywhere, control sectors without combat, and dominate the minds of empires without firing a weapon. Minor races secretly aligned with humanity, offering information, resources, and even fleets to gain favor. Major empires hesitated, uncertain if open conflict could succeed. The council debated endlessly, trying to understand what humans were planning, but every prediction failed. Humans had turned patience, strategy, and observation into a weapon stronger than any missile or warship. In one bold move, humans allowed an alien fleet to detect a small squad near a key trade hub. The fleet moved confidently, thinking they had the advantage, but humans had already anticipated their response. Cloaked ships appeared in unexpected positions, blocking escape routes, and controlling the battlefield without firing a single shot. The psychological impact was immense. Across the galaxy, fear became humanity's tool. Merchants, soldiers, and scholars whispered of the silent conquest, fleets that could vanish and reappear, and strategy that could outsmart the most advanced empires. Even alliances struggled to coordinate against a foe that always seemed one step ahead. On Earth, humans watched the galaxy carefully. Every hesitation, mistake, and panic-stricken decision was recorded for future planning. The unexpected ally provided intelligence that amplified humans' ability to control space silently. Systems were secured without battles, fleets were neutralized without violence, and empires trembled at the thought of provoking humanity. Across sectors, the silent conquest spread further. Key planets were observed and influenced, trade routes controlled, and fleets monitored without the galaxy realizing the extent of human dominance. Humans moved like shadows, striking psychologically rather than physically, and forcing empires to second-guess every decision. Alien leaders argued, shouted, and feared. Every plan seemed flawed when humans anticipated every move, and the uncertainty spread faster than fleets could travel. In one daring demonstration, humans and their ally coordinated fleets to appear simultaneously near multiple capitals. Sensors detected activity, but ships vanished before response fleets could arrive. Panic spread through council chambers. Every empire knew humans could dominate without firing a weapon, control space without destruction, and create fear without a single casualty. Across the galaxy, stories grew of humans as ghosts in space, invisible, intelligent, and unstoppable. Minor species secretly provided support, knowing that humanity was now the dominant power. Major empires hesitated, unsure whether to act or wait, but every second of hesitation strengthened humanity's position. On Earth, humans refined fleets, enhanced cloaking, improved shields, and prepared for the next phase. They understood that silent conquest required patience, intelligence, and observation rather than open war. Across sectors, alien fleets grew cautious, trade slowed, and alliances became fragile. Humans had turned the galaxy into a chessboard, predicting, controlling, and manipulating every move. Fear had replaced power as the greatest tool, and humans wielded it flawlessly. Fleets that once dominated now moved with caution, unsure of when or where humans might strike next. The silent conquest was unstoppable. Across the stars, whispers grew louder. Humans could appear anywhere, strike without violence, and control sectors without leaving a trace. Even the largest empires could not predict or counter humanity's moves. Councils debated endlessly, strategies failed, and fleets hesitated. On Earth, humans monitored everything, gathering knowledge, recording reactions, and preparing for future operations. Their hidden power, unexpected ally, and unmatched intelligence had created a force that no empire could challenge openly. Across the galaxy, the turning point of fear and respect had evolved into silent conquest. Humanity controlled space psychologically, strategically, and invisibly. Every empire understood the truth. Humans were no longer a species to ignore, fight recklessly against, or underestimate. The stars had awakened to Earth's presence. And as human fleets moved silently, observing, controlling, and calculating every reaction, every empire knew the quiet truth of the galaxy's new order. The age of humanity had arrived. The silent conquest would continue, unseen but undeniable, unstoppable yet careful, reshaping the galaxy without a single open battle. Humans had proven that dominance was not measured by destruction or numbers, but by intelligence, patience, strategy, and fear. Every empire now feared humanity, respected them, and waited anxiously to see the next move. The galaxy had changed forever, and the quiet power of Earth had begun a new era that no empire could stop, control, or predict. Humanity had risen silently, patiently, and brilliantly, and the universe would never be the same again. The galaxy had changed forever. After centuries of being ignored, underestimated, and dismissed, humanity had risen silently, cleverly, and unstoppable. The silent conquest had transformed into full dominance. Alien empires trembled, fleets hesitated, trade routes slowed, and councils argued endlessly, unsure how to respond. Humans had shown intelligence, patience, strategy, and hidden power beyond anything the galaxy had witnessed. Fleets that once ruled sectors were now cautious, unsure of where humans might appear next. Trade hubs, communication lines, and even planets felt the psychological control of humanity without a single destructive battle. Humans moved with precision, controlling space invisibly, anticipating every enemy move, and exploiting weaknesses without confrontation. Across the galaxy, rumors spread of human fleets appearing like shadows, cloaked and silent, coordinating with intelligence unknown to any other species. Minor races secretly offered support, hoping to ally with the rising power, while major empires feared confrontation, knowing that every attack could fail. The unexpected ally of humanity provided knowledge, intelligence, and strategy, magnifying the effect of Earth's fleets. Together, humans had created a web of influence, observation, and control that no empire could match. On Earth, humans monitored every reaction. They recorded every hesitation, every panic, every flawed decision made by alien commanders. They refined fleets, improved cloaking, strengthened shields, and enhanced communication. The galaxy was their chessboard, and every empire was a piece they could influence silently. In one daring demonstration, human fleets appeared simultaneously near multiple major capitals. Alien fleets scrambled, trying to defend, but human ships vanished before engagement, appearing behind fleets, blocking exits, and observing every move. Panic spread through council chambers, where leaders shouted, argued, and feared for the first time in history. Humans had proven that dominance did not require destruction. Psychological control, strategy, and intelligence were enough to rule sectors without a single casualty. Across trade routes, whispers of humanity's power spread. Merchants, soldiers, and scholars told stories of ships appearing out of nowhere, controlling space invisibly, and outsmarting entire fleets. Even alliances struggled, unsure whether to act or wait, while humans observed calmly, collecting data and refining strategy. In outer sectors, humans coordinated with their ally to demonstrate control over critical planets. Fleets tried to intervene, but human intelligence anticipated every maneuver. Communication lines were disrupted subtly, escape routes blocked invisibly, and alien commanders realized they could not challenge humans openly. Fear had become humanity's tool, stronger than missiles or weapons. Across galaxies, the Council debated endlessly. Preemptive strikes were considered, but every plan seemed flawed. Humans had mastered the art of prediction, observation, and strategy. Every hesitation by an empire strengthened human control. On Earth, leaders prepared for the final phase of ascendance. Fleets moved silently, monitoring, observing, and controlling key sectors. Minor races aligned secretly, providing intelligence, resources, and small fleets to humanity. Major empires feared action, knowing that even a single mistake could be catastrophic. In a bold operation, humans demonstrated their power near a contested core system. Cloaked fleets surrounded planets and trade hubs, observing alien fleets without detection. Ships appeared in impossible positions, controlling space with precision, and vanished before a single shot could be fired. Alien commanders panicked. Generals argued. Fleets hesitated. Humanity had proven that they could dominate without violence, control without confrontation, and inspire fear without destruction. Across sectors, whispers turned to stories. Humans were no longer just a species, they were a force, invisible yet unstoppable, clever beyond comprehension, and patient beyond imagination. The Council realized too late that Earth's influence could not be ignored. Every empire understood the new reality: humanity was ascendant. Fleets that once boasted strength now moved cautiously, trade slowed, and alliances fractured under the weight of fear. The unexpected ally continued to provide intelligence, amplifying the influence of Earth's fleets. Together, they controlled space, monitored enemy movements, and reinforced the psychological dominance of humans. On Earth, humans refined fleets, technology, and strategy further. Every hesitation, every miscalculation, and every reaction from the galaxy became knowledge for the next operation. The stars themselves seemed under humanity's observation, silent witnesses to the rise of a species no empire could challenge openly. In a decisive demonstration, humans and their ally orchestrated fleets to appear simultaneously in multiple strategic sectors. Alien commanders scrambled to respond, but human ships appeared in unexpected locations, blocking exits and observing movements with precision. Panic and fear spread across fleets and councils alike. Humanity had shown the galaxy that dominance was not measured by destruction or weapons, but by intelligence, patience, strategy, and control. Across minor worlds, whispers of humanity's rise inspired awe and fear. Merchants, soldiers and civilians alike spoke of fleets that moved unseen, controlled space without conflict, and could predict enemy moves before they happened. Major empires debated alliances, fearing open conflict and failure. Humans had become the ultimate force, combining hidden power, intelligence, and strategic foresight with an ally that magnified their reach. On Earth, human leaders watched calmly. The galaxy had fallen into their pattern. Fleets hesitated. Councils argued. Trade slowed. Fear ruled where firepower once dominated. Humanity's patience and precision had created a silent, unstoppable power. Across sectors, the age of humans had arrived. The galaxy had learned that ignoring Earth had been a grave mistake. Fleets, empires, and councils realized the truth. Humanity was clever, patient, strategic, and unstoppable. Every empire feared even minor decisions, knowing that humans had anticipated every possible outcome. The stars were no longer quiet. Humans controlled them invisibly, silently, and completely. Across galaxies, the ascendance of humanity became undeniable. The silent conquest had reached its peak. Fleets moved, planets shifted influence, trade routes were dominated, and alien empires could only watch in awe and fear. On Earth, human leaders smiled quietly, knowing that the galaxy now recognized their dominance. The council trembled, fleets hesitated, and empires feared. Humanity had proven that intelligence, patience, strategy, and subtle control were the ultimate weapons. The universe had awakened to Earth's presence. And as human fleets moved silently through the stars, observing, calculating, and controlling, the galaxy understood one truth: humanity was ascendant. They had risen without destruction, conquered without battle, and dominated without revealing their full power. The age of humans had begun. The galaxy would never forget, ignore, or underestimate Earth again. The stars belonged to humanity now, not through fire or blood, but through intelligence, patience, and the unstoppable rise of a species that had learned to conquer the universe silently, cleverly, and forever.